In our previous video, we mentioned that combinatorial innovation creates resilience, but combinatorial innovation can do more. It also increases the likelihood of breakthrough discoveries and inventions, especially when combining different areas of study. Here's some research to back that. Research over 2 centuries of US patent data shows research productivity declines if new elements for combination or new information about underlying parameters are not discovered. Patenting increases are correlated to new combinations made before the patent was granted. In other words, just like our genetic makeup, adding diversity or new elements helps to increase the potential of the area of study. 15 out of 20 of the most significant scientists in all history were accomplished in other areas of their studies. In other words, 75% of most important scientific discoveries were made by scientists who are polymaths or all-rounders, or people who have not restricted their research to just their main area of studies, and as a result, made breakthrough discoveries in these other areas. And apparently, if you look at Nobel laureate scientists, they are 2 to 20 times more likely to engage in the arts than their counterparts. Now, of course, that's not to say if you want to win a Nobel Prize, dabbling in the arts is the solution. But it does go to show the pattern or behavior of the people who make breakthrough discoveries. They have a habit of having a broad field of study. I think it's safe to say some of the world's most creative thinkers have mastered the art of borrowing ideas across domains. Well, actually, maybe borrowing is not enough. One of my favorite books say you should steal. But steal like an artist is really an enjoyable read, and here's some interesting quotes about stealing ideas by some of the top people in their field. But the author is careful to clarify that there is a huge difference between good theft and bad theft. Again, check out the book. It's an interesting read. Here's some example of how taking ideas from one field of study into another can create some interesting results. You might already know that Steve Jobs draws inspiration from buildings, vehicles, home appliances, calligraphy, arcade machines, Polaroid, and even Zen Buddhism for his product designs. Here's another example. One of the scientific breakthroughs to kill superbugs that are resistant to antibiotics is to not use drugs, but to create a star-shaped polymer. The star-shaped structures are short chains of proteins called peptide polymers and were created by a team from the Melbourne School of Engineering. This is probably one of my favorites. In Google's early days, when trying to build a redundancy infrastructure for its low-cost data centers, Google did something outside of the norm. Instead of hiring a networking expert, they hired a neuroscientist so that they could model Google's infrastructure after the brain's ability to heal itself. Pretty interesting stuff. You guys might have heard that the Singapore airport just opened a new mall that housed an amazing indoor garden. What you may not know is the architect's design inspiration for the garden came from the science fiction movie Avatar, which had a landscape that he says blew his mind. At some point, he even wanted to get a hanging rock in the middle of the garden, just like the floating mountains you see in the movie. Crazy stuff. We will pause here and talk about another advantage of combinatorial innovation in our next video.